Small Business Advisor with the Great Falls Development Authority. Sorry for the technical issues this morning, everybody. We had some problems with the login link, and then we're having problems. Alan's having problems with his audio. I'm having problems with my video. It's like it's Monday or something. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us, even through our technical issues. This webinar today is brought to you by Montana State Extension Service with help from the Montana Department of Commerce, the Montana Small Business Development Center, and with some additional support from the Great Falls Development Alliance and the both Alan and myself are small business advisors with the Montana Small Business Development Center. There's a statewide network of us. There's 10 centers throughout the state. So depending on where you're tuning into from today, we can certainly connect you to an advisor in your area to offer free business advising and consulting. And today, Alan, he is going to be presenting on some business plan basics, and he's going to run through his slides. If anybody has questions, they can certainly put them in the chat. We'll monitor the chat. You can publicly chat, or you can chat directly to me. I can ask Alan those questions. Or if you want to hold your questions for the end, we'll have a time at the end of the presentation for a Q&A. So with that, I'll get my microphone, but Alan, it's all yours.
Very good. Thank you very much, Rich. Hello, everyone. Good morning, and glad to be here. And we're going to be talking about creating your business plan, and that really entails a couple things. The business plan, the words, how you're going to do things, and then the other part of the business plan is the cash flow projections. So translating those words into numbers. And we're going to go through these steps here. I like simplifying things. So yes, I can throw a business plan template, 30 pages, and tell you, here you go, answer those questions. But I like to start with steps, and then we're going to get to the cash flow projections. And guess what? We have a business plan. So on my screen, I'm going to follow this. This is my contact information, but also you can contact Rich Gannon, and you will have his email. Same thing, rgannon@growgreatfalls.org. So here's our agenda. Why a business plan? It's all here, right? I've heard that so many times in 17, 18 years of advising. So why do a business plan? We're going to talk about this. I like to start with a simple business model, then transition to the business plan outline. Then we're going to talk a little bit about market research, not in depth, how to do it, what's the easiest way to do it, and then cash flow projections. And this is really half an hour. If you get one thing out of this webinar, you get, where do I work? There's a Great Falls SBDC. There's SBDC all over Montana. I'm going to give you a link for that. So wherever you're at in Montana, definitely you can connect with the SBDC, make it easier on yourself, and let us help you with that. So if you get one thing, there's SBDC in Montana, I will connect with them. That's what I want you to do. But otherwise, obviously, I'm going to give you some information today. So let's start. So why a business plan? Maybe you have to really decide, why do you want this business plan? Do you want it for partners you're starting to join forces with? Is it for your banker? Is it for investment opportunity? Is it your rich uncle wants to know what you're going to do with his money? What is it? Is it for yourself? Open your car trunk, get the money out and spend it. But before that, you want a roadmap. So these are the major benefits, basically, that you need to do a business plan for. But funding resources, I want to go back to that. Funding resources, bankers might be a different business plan direction than partners, than your rich uncle, than yourself. So, but you still have to do a business plan, at least of some form or shape. So why do we need that? Because it's a roadmap. If I'm going from California, when I drove from California to Montana, best decision ever, I needed to know what freeway I'm gonna take, where am I gonna stay, where I'm gonna eat, where's, I needed to stop every 4 hours for my wife to relax or whatever. So I needed a roadmap. Then I can translate that roadmap to dollar amount. How much does it cost for gas? How much does it cost is my car good enough to drive? Things like that in the business you have to take care of. Look at it, look where your starting point, your end goal that you want to be in, and assess that, and then translate it to numbers, and then have a budget for that, and see where you're going to get the money after that. So determine feasibility. So I see that every day. I meet with clients, and then bottom line, we need to, okay, yes, you need a $1.5 million loan, or 150 or $20,000 loan. But really, at the end of the day, before you even pull the trigger for that, you need to ask yourself, do I want to get into that? And you cannot answer that question unless you say, well, let's put it on paper. Let's look at the numbers and see if you want to get into that venture or not. Hopefully the decision is yes, and the feasibility study, which is the business plan, cash flow projections, supports your decision that this is a good idea and all that, and you jump in with no hesitation. So determining financials, capital requirements. Obviously, bankers ask you for business plan, cash flow projections most of the time. So that's a good thing to have. You're not going to sit down and tell them the story, how great the business will be and all that. They just read the business plan, look at the cash flow projections, and pull your credit and go from there. Management tools. So I really stress on you having a business plan, even if you're in business and you're not gonna go for funding. You did funding already, but you have to update that business plan. It's a live document. You have to update that as you grow with the business. So that serves as management tool for your business. Rules to follow real quick. Layman's language. If you're the scientist, don't give them terms. Bankers don't know science. So you're the expert in your field. So simplify, simplify, simplify. Layman's language. That's number one. Number two, third person format. So always in a third person format, as if I'm talking about your business. So I would say, Business ABC will do this and that. The owner of this business will do this and that. Mr., Mrs. will do this and that. So third person format. Check your grammar, check your spelling, definitely basic things to follow. All right, so what's the first step? Business model. I love this business model. I used to teach it in the entrepreneurship class, where people come in and have 5 ideas and they want to see which one to start. Yeah, they're going to start the 5 ideas. I heard that before. But let's focus on one and start it. And then when it's successful, transition to the next one. So I like starting with the 1-page business plan, which is the business model. I'm going to give you a sample of it. And all these documents, by the way, it's going to be sent to you somehow. We're going to share it. I uploaded it to the event. So with the email, don't forget to do the surveys and all that. Rich is going to go over how that works. And then please ask for the documents that I'm going to share so you can work with it. 1-page bird's eye view from 1,000 feet to the whole business. It's not as detailed, but it gives you all the ideas and assess all the aspects of that idea that you're starting, and help really, once you're answering those questions, as you will see, this will be the building block, the foundation, if you will, to go from the business plan moving forward to transition to the business plan. So what does it look like? Here we go. I hope you can see the font. I tried to make it as big as possible, but you're gonna get that as a document, full document anyways. But it starts with number 1, move to number 2, 3, 4, and then you move to 5, 6, 7, answering those questions step by step. move to the cost structure, and then revenue streams, and you're done with it. And these sections, if you will be exactly what you're going to go over in a business plan. So you're not wasting your time by answering those, but it's just condensed general overall idea about your business. So for example, value proposition. What are you selling? What value do we deliver to your customers? Oh, I'm a plumber. Yeah, you sell plumbing, but really that, the next plumber will be the same thing. So how do you separate yourself from the business next to you selling the same things you're selling, services or products? That's the value. So, oh, quality, the price. So, and I gave you a cheat sheet here. Oh, it's a new product. It's performance, how we do this, customization, maybe availability of you, oh, you're the best in town, but I call you, you don't answer your phone. I call you, customer service is horrible. I call you and, oh, there's a wait, month and a half, because I'm the best in town. That doesn't help. That doesn't give value to the customers. But in addition to that, maybe it's a cost reduction, price, risk. So things like that is the value. So take your time answering those questions in each section, whatever applies, and definitely you're going to end up with a small business plan for your business. So number 2, customer segments. Once you know the value, you need to answer what is the customer that you're trying to present that value to, or who is it important to. For example, if you're a barber shop, guess what? I'm not your customer, right? If you're a hairstylist for women, men are not your customers. So you need to focus on your customer, try to define them, paint a picture for those people or clients. Then you would target them with customer relations. And number 3, how are you going to find them? Where are you going to find them? How are you going to establish the relationship? How are you going to increase that once they buy something? How are you going to keep them with customer service and all that? And then channels. You think about channels that you're going to market to them. Are you going to use Facebook? What's best for those customer segments that you mentioned? B2B maybe, or individuals? Is it Facebook for business? Is it a website? Is it direct marketing? Is it government procurement? You just go to a website and do the bidding. So what channels are you going to use to connect with your customers? Then move to number 5, key activities in the business that you do. From A to Z, what do you do? If you think of it, from A to Z, what you do, that's very linked to the organization plan. See, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 connected to the business, product, and service, and then the marketing section here. But number 5 is connected to the organization plan. Who's the owner, who's the manager, who's the employee doing what, and who does what. So you start with this from A to Z, what's going to happen in the business from A to Z, and who's going to do it. And then you think about key resources. Maybe you need to hire somebody else. Maybe you need financials. Maybe you need intellectual property. You need patents, maybe. That's in key resources. Then you move to number 7. Key partnership. Key partnership basically is biggest suppliers, biggest vendors, biggest customers that you, maybe a referral partner, maybe businesses in your association, let's say downtown or whatever you belong to, Chamber of Commerce. These send you referrals. These are key partners. Think of it as Amazon and UPS. Back then, when they had products, they couldn't ship them, they didn't have shipping department, and they wanted to ship those, they using UPS and FedEx. Still use them when they go to areas they don't want to go to, so they use those partners to fulfill those orders. Then number 8, cost structure. Basically, cost is fixed cost, things that doesn't change every month. You have to pay them whether you have a customer or million. And then variable cost changes as you sell more. The more you sell, the more that percentage of cost will increase. Then revenue streams. What are you selling? What do you sell to generate your revenue? That's in a simple way the business model. Take your time answering them. Once you answer that, you move to step number 2. I'm gonna open questions at the end, by the way, so don't worry about that. I'm trying to give you all the value in half an hour, so that's why I'm moving fast. But I will go back to slides if you want to at the end. So second step, once you do the business plan, you have 1 page. And by the way, you don't have to be confined with those blocks. You can start a Word document and start typing value proposition number 1 and start answering those questions and then move on. So you have a Word document for it. And then copy and paste in the business plan. So second step, business plan. Here's the simplest way I have for a business plan. Of course, you know, you can connect with Rich or you can connect with your SBDC in your area. They have templates. We share information together. So we have template. One of the templates is 30 pages long. So, but this is mainly, any business plan will not be different most of the time than this. I would leave the red ones alone. Because why? Because cover sheet, what type of business plan, name of the business. Okay, you can do this in a minute. Table of contents, where everything is at. You leave that till the end. Executive summary, summarizing the whole plan. You can't tell me what happened in the movie before you go watch it and then tell me in 10 minutes, you know, is it a good movie or not? Same thing with the business plan. So do it last. Financials, we're going to exchange that. Obviously, the lender can ask you of things like that, but every business is different. So leave that till the end. We're going to use an Excel sheet that replaces this. But if you need to answer any of those, it's going to be after the business plan. So business development, you start with that. Description of the business, industry analysis, nature of the firm. What do you do? Major business objectives or goals. Legal form of organization. Oh, I'm going to be a sole business. Okay, no, I'm going to be a hairstylist. I need to be an LLC for liability protection. As simple as that. You can expand, of course, on these. What is your product and service? Initial inventory required. Methods of inventory. Things like that. You answer it really simple. Take your time. And our SBDCs in Montana have access to Life Plan. We pay for it. We can share it with you, a link so you can work on the business plan. We can monitor it. So there's great tools. Just connect with your local center in Montana, and they will provide you with a lot of helpful tools and support. Don't do it alone. Location, description of the location. So it's not, oh, I don't have a location yet. Yes, this is a wish list. What's the location? What's the location of that business that you want, and what's the advantage to the business development? Oh, near the freeway, away from the freeway, near this, in downtown, away from downtown, outside the city. What works for you? What's your basically wish list? And put it in there, and then go look for it. Organization plan, again, who's the owner, who's the manager, who's the employee? We talked about that. And basically list of key manager, duties and responsibilities, qualifications and experience from outside or inside working with you. Then the marketing plan, demographics and market segmentation. We talked about that in the business model. Market analysis, target customer group. Guess what? You answered that already in the business model. Product and service and the value, you answered that. Competitors analysis, how many are they? Don't tell them you don't have competition. You're the best in what you're doing. There is competition hiding in there, right? So what's your SWOT analysis, basically? What's your weaknesses? What's your strength compared to them? Advertising plan, media selection, the channels in the business model, definitely you can take it and add to it here. This is as simple as a business plan that you can do, and then you do the financials. So how, obviously, the financials, if you're in business already, accounts receivable, accounts payable, income tax returns, they're going to ask you for that, financial projections. Stop there and I will replace it with the next document. So this was number 2 step. Then before I step to number 3, I want to talk a little bit about market analysis, because this is really the scary thing. You know, how do I get information? What do I do? You know, how do I go about this? Well, I can throw this at you and say, oh, here's the websites. Go ahead, do it, which is market analysis, market research has 2 parts. Secondary one, you go to the online, you download Google, you go to Census, you go to our website, US Bureau of Labor, you go and research all those that reports that somebody else posted, right? That's why it's secondary. The second one is a primary market research. You do it yourself. I'm going to go over this. But before I leave this slide, because I complicated it for you, here's all the website that you can go to. Stop there. Before you do anything, connect with your SBDC, local SBDC, and let them help. Because we have tools. We invest in tools. Most of these are available and we know how to use them. We know how to save you time. So please, before you do anything, yes, you're going to do some work yourself, but definitely connect with your advisor in your local SBDC and let them help you. Don't do this alone. The primary, no, you have to do this one because you can sit outside your competitors and count heads. You know, you go to Starbucks and take pictures of the menu, spy on them. Secure letter of intent from early adopters, you know, to show that there's demand. Facebook, social media, surveys, you know, get into Google forums and talk to people and pull surveys. Use surveys, MailChimp or whatever surveys you want to use, and send it to buy lists and send it to customers, targeted customers, right? Because you did your research and you know exactly who's your target customers. You're not just riding a Cessna, dropping flyers all over the city and hoping that it lands on your perfect customers. So that's primary market research. You do it yourself. You ask people, you conduct surveys. But definitely ask your SBDC for more ways local to you. Depends on the city, depends on your county, definitely. So the third step after that is cash flow projections. Collecting all that information, then translating it to numbers, which we're gonna say streams of income basically from the business model, expenses, fixed and cost. So here's a nice cash flow projections template. It never failed me. And I'm sure every center have a cash flow projections they like to work with. And it's basically the same at the end. It's income on top, how much income you're gonna make per month. And lenders would like to have usually 3 years of cash flow projections by month. This one, I just took a snap picture of the mean first year of cash flow projections, but this comes with the startup cost, loan amortization, and then revenue projection, and then it plugs in the information here, and it's uploaded on the event. Everyone can get one of these to work with. It's an Excel sheet. So, but it will give you per month projections, income, which is on top here, cost of goods sold, if you have materials or whatever associated, let's say 30% with the income you bring. And then you move to operating expenses. The operating expenses are the fixed expenses that doesn't change. And then you can plug in payroll as well, and it will calculate payroll tax and workers' comp average. And then you get to net cash flow and then the ending bank balance. the good thing about this that you will get, it creates, once you work on the cash flow projections, year number one, it creates year number 2 and 3 with a 10% increase. You can change that 10% to whatever additional, and it creates income statement, and you can work on a balance sheet, creates ratios for you, which bankers really love. And but you don't have to do anything to create those formulas. It's there for you. So how do I do this? Connect to one of your, here's the link, sbdc.mt.gov about and our locations. Wherever you're at in Montana, there is an SBDC closer to you. Definitely connect with us. We're your partners in this. It's always free of charge. It's always no cost to you. It's our tax money to good cause. And all we ask at the end is for you to share your success with us. And this is how we get funded every year. So with that, thank you for attending. I'll open it for questions. Rich?
Thanks, Alan. I don't see any questions, but I do have questions, maybe even more along the lines of comments, and maybe Jennifer at Missoula could chime in too. So one thing I see as a business advisor a lot is when it comes to creating financial projections, and you kind of touched on this, is the ability to provide market research to help back up your numbers, I think is really important. So anybody can just put numbers into a spreadsheet, but really what you have to work on answering is how did you come up with those numbers specifically, or most importantly, probably is the sales numbers. And that's why doing market research is really important. And it's sometimes it's more art than science, but you have to be able to have something to point back to that says, hey, yeah, you know, this first year in business, I'm going to have $200,000 in sales. If I'm a lender or someone who's wanting to invest, the first question I have is, well, how did you come up with $200,000? What's your methodology? And even if sometimes that's just a best guess, it's still incumbent upon you to have something that backs up that best guess, either through market research or data or something like that. So that's just an observation from my standpoint as a business advisor, is being able to have some sort of background that supports your financial projections. And Jennifer over in Missoula, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the financial projections when it comes to business planning or not. We'll put Jennifer on the spot, but maybe she's not there. Anyway, Alan, do you have any feedback on that, on the backing up your projections?
No, absolutely. And you're right, Rich. We're working, Rich and I working with a client. I worked with them before, and we finished the financials, and then the lender kicked it back because they wanted really additional support for the numbers. Where did you get those numbers from? So Rich started working with them on explaining that, no, that's great that you pulled those numbers, but we need more additional information. So yes, you can work with the SBDC, but really we need your help, because it's your idea how to support those numbers. Definitely, it's the case all the time.
Right. Yep. And the tools Alan mentioned, you know, all of those research tools, we have access to a lot of those where we can help run specific reports in your industry, which maybe give you some of that background, so you have some data to support your numbers.
Yes. Good. Any questions?
I don't have any other questions. I think a good presentation, Alan. The business model canvas, that's something that people use out there. That's that kind of that one page thing where it describes all the aspects of business. I think that's a really great tool that entrepreneurs should use at the beginning stage, so it starts to get them thinking about all of those different component parts. And all of that material we'll be able to post in the past webinar webpage that Carrie posted a link to in the chat, but I will also send out a link directly to that as soon as all those materials are posted. And Alan, I believe you're going to have the business model canvas template and the spreadsheet, the cash flow spreadsheet as well.
Yes, business plan outline, business model canvas, and also cash flow, but also the presentation. I put it as a PDF in the event.
Okay. Yep. And please, everybody out there, connect with your local small business development center. We've got the tools and expertise. We help people write business plans every day. So you might as well lean on us to help do some of that heavy lifting.
Yes.
All right. Well, next month, I believe I'm in the hot seat next month, and I'm going to kind of take some of what Alan did about financials, and I'm going to just kind of develop a small webinar where we're going to kind of go into detail as much as we can in 30 minutes about the differences between income statement, cash flow, balance sheet, kind of give people some basic understandings of those three primary financial instruments that business owners need to know how to decipher. So next month will be just kind of an overview on business financial statements.
Good. Thank you very much, Rich.
With that, and I
Thank you,
will be sending
Jennifer.
out a post-event survey to everybody. If you could take a minute, click a link, and let us know about the webinar. And again, sorry for the early technical difficulties, but we were able to power through. So I appreciate it, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.